Welcome to my channel. I'm Kenji and I'm a Japanese teacher and coach. Today's topic is dealing with nervousness in Japanese. Have you ever noticed that your Japanese fluency seems to fluctuate depending on who you're with? First of all, let's understand what is happening when we are nervous about speaking Japanese language. You might have had this situation where you are talking to your specific Japanese friend or a colleague on one-on-one session in a cafe, and you find yourself being able to articulate really well. You use the grammar points that you learned and they understood you. Very nice. You are responding to the questions really well without pausing too much. Amazing. You go home and think, I did really good today. But then sometimes you find yourself not being able to articulate yourself at all. You don't perform well. Maybe you are surrounded by a group of Japanese people and you are the only person who is using Japanese as a second language. The Japanese people around you are talking really fast and you can understand what they're saying sometimes, and sometimes you don't understand at all. Then you might space out and not join the conversation at all. You find yourself feeling a little bit sad, and that happens. This is called affective filter. Stefan Krashen came up with a theory. So basically, when people are stressed out, anxious, and not confident about the language, they are going to learn and perform ineffectively. So imagine that you are nervous or anxious and this invisible wall starts to come up and you can't really learn well and you can't communicate with people well. I think I'm interpreting his theory a little bit, but maybe you can tell me if this is true in the comment section below. Also, when you speak a second language, we might be monitoring how accurate we speak. An easy way to think this is that when you try to look up information on Google in Japanese or English, misspellings will be underlined in red, right? Just like that, our brain, it does automatically spelling and grammar checks when we try to speak. So I think it makes sense why words are not coming out smoothly when you're nervous, because you are trying to speak more carefully so that you don't make mistakes to make yourself more stressed. This is called monitor hypothesis, also proposed by Krashen. I want you to know that I have been there too, as someone who has used English as a second language. So the question here is, how can we deal with these negative emotions like nervousness and performance anxiety when you speak Japanese? Let's talk about that today. So by the end of this video, you will be able to touch on 3 practical solutions to speak with more confidence. Before going into the main topic, please allow me to introduce this channel. On this channel, I provide the practical tools and information to help you navigate Japan smoothly. Now, while my mission is to share information about the culture and Japanese language, as a Japanese teacher, I want to be clear, I'm not a linguistic professor or an expert on Japanese culture. What I'm sharing today is my own personal analysis and perspective, so I hope you find this information helpful. All right, let's get to the first advice. First advice is know your battle. What I mean by that is understanding which situations you are going to put yourself in is very important. Think of a scenario where you are attending a work party for a Japanese company. The party is going to be held at a venue where alcohol will be served. People are going to be intoxicated, maybe they have karaoke machines, and your colleagues might decide to sing their favorite karaoke songs. You will most likely be one of the few people who speak Japanese as a second language. Now, this is a difficult battle because What is the side effect of alcohol? Incoherent speech. People singing karaoke are going to create loud noises, so you might have to speak louder than usual, and the person you're talking to might not hear you as well. So you will have to mentally be ready for that. And now, what if you are at a very calm and quiet cafe with nice calming background music and you're sitting with your Japanese friend who you have known for weeks or months, years, speaking one-on-one? Your friend knows that you're studying Japanese, so he or she might speak a little bit more carefully so you don't feel too nervous, right? You can see that situations sometimes dictate how well you might perform in speaking Japanese language. So the first practical tip is to write down or think about what kind of situations you are going to be in. Is it going to be loud? Are there going to be many Japanese people? Would you be sitting in a group setting, or is it one-on-one? Having this intelligence or information really helps you realize that struggle in a high performance or high pressure environment isn't a failure of your ability in Japanese language. It was simply a difficult battle to begin with. So choose your battle. Alright, the second practical tip is be okay with sacrificing your accuracy. I mentioned about the monitor hypothesis by Krashen earlier. I think this is really important because when you're speaking with someone, your brain is doing a lot of things. So not only do you have to recall the memories, you make sentences and you pronounce in a way that the other person can understand. You are also receiving information and you're trying to make sense, decoding what they mean. Otherwise, you can't respond and have a conversation. In addition to this, your brain is doing a spell and grammar checks every time you speak. So your brain is doing a lot of things. Inevitably, your accuracy and fluency might decrease in this situation. It's the same as when you type really fast on a computer, you're typing very fast and smoothly. But when you type fast, you will make lots of errors and mistakes. Say you are texting your Japanese friend, you can take your time to respond, so 30 minutes, a few hours, or even a few days. You can type and see if there's any mistakes, and you can fix the mistakes then. On the other hand, in conversations and speaking, you don't have time for that. So be okay with sacrificing your accuracy a little bit if your focus is on communication and fluency. The last practical information is know your subject. I'm going to give you a story of my student who gave me a permission to talk about this story. He was an exchange student who was studying at a university, and he got a part-time job at a shopping center. His job was to sell handbags to the customers. But whenever he thought about coming up to a customer who is a native speaker, right, it really scared him. He was thinking, what if they ask me something and I can't understand? What if they ask me about specific handbags and I have to explain to them? What if I say something wrong? Lots of thoughts, right? So whenever he would start his shift, he was just very, very nervous and could not talk well to the customers. What did he do to face this challenge? He decided to study handbags outside of work. He started off by studying the type of materials of the bags. Is it synthetic? Is it cowhide? Then he realized that they both come with pros and cons. Synthetic bags are water resistant and last a long time, but it doesn't change their shape according to the people's use and the body shape. Cowhide is susceptible to water and breaks easily, but it changes its shape and texture over time, so they become more personal kind of item. Now he knew about the materials of the handbags, right? It's great. And I really like this part because what he decided to do next is he would come up to a customer and he would talk about the materials with customers every chance he gets. Now, he had knowledge. He knows about the bags and he can talk about it. It made him really, really confident. So he kept on expanding knowledge about the handbags, words, grammar points, and phrases that he could use. As a result, he became less nervous because he knew more about the topic, right? So if you find yourself nervous in a certain situation, maybe that means it is time to sharpen up your skills. If you get nervous when meeting people for the first time because you have to introduce yourself, maybe you could start studying and decide what exactly you're going to say. You can look up specific questions, let's say, or you get stressed out because you can talk really well with Japanese people on a deeper level because you can't articulate yourself well. Perhaps you could start by researching topics that you and the specific group of Japanese people that you talk to are going to talk about. This will make you more confident because you know your subject and you know that you're not going to, you know that what you're going to say, and you know that you can communicate confidently in this topic. So if you could have one or two topics that you're really passionate about, or the situations that you are really used to, and you can communicate well, that is going to make you feel confident in speaking the language. So knowing the subject really makes sure that you aren't caught off guard, and when you know what you want to say and how it should sound, your anxiety naturally fades away. Okay? So that's it. Today I covered how you can remove your nervousness and be more confident in speaking Japanese. I hope you enjoyed the video, and today's question is, what is the kind of situation do you get most nervous or anxious when you are speaking in Japanese language? Please let me know in the comments below, and of course, if you have questions at all about the Japanese culture and communication, leave those in the comments as well. It will help a lot to shape my future videos. So thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time.